So, can you tell me a little bit about the premise that informs the essays in the book? Tell me a little bit about your definition of patriots and the distinction you draw between that and partisan.
Well, there's no single premise that informs this book. This book is a collection of long essays on politics, society, and intellectual life in India. But it's since these are essays, they are powered by my views, my opinions, my biases, my prejudices, which are that of a liberal who holds his ground firmly and rigorously and sometimes polemically. So as a consequence, since it's about contemporary India, this book has essays on the Naxalites, on Hindutva, on the corruption of the Congress party. And unlike, say, in a much longer work, unlike, say, in India After Gandhi, which is a work of documentation and scholarship, and my own voice was suppressed and subdued in that book because it's the documentation that is meant to carry the argument forward. Here I'm much more opinionated in that sense because it's a collection of essays.
And can you tell me your definition of the Indian liberal? I think you talk about the 50s and 60s as being an important...
Yeah, I say that Indian liberals believed in freedom of speech, relative positive discrimination, not sort of a state-sponsored definition of equality for all, but certainly special rights on underprivileged people, emancipation of women, intercultural harmony, and also absence of public institutions. I think the important part of the Indian liberalism, which is now forgotten, is the impersonal, rule-bound functioning of public institutions, which includes universities, law courts, the bureaucracy, and finally, as I say in my preface, the refusal of intellectuals to identify exclusively with a political party. You can certainly, we are citizens, so we vote at the time of elections, but I believe it's always been a mistake for an intellectual to say ally with the Congress or with the BJP or with the Naxalites or with any other, or with the Shiv Sena or any other political tendency. And that I find, as I say in the book, that over the years, over the 80s and 90s, I say that some intellectuals out of despair with the Congress have joined the BJP. Other intellectuals out of some kind of sycophancy have become courtiers of the Congress party. And left-wing intellectuals out of a romantic enchantment with revolution have thrown in their head with the Naxalites. But I think it's a mistake for any writer, any intellectual. As George Orwell said, a writer should never be a loyal member of a political party.
Right. And you talk about your friend and teacher Dharma Kumar and how her shadow sort of hangs over the book.
Yeah.
And she describes the Indian liberal as supine. Was that the phrase?
Right. It was in a lecture. It was in a letter in EPW.
Right.
It was actually in print. Letter to EPW. She said the Indian liberal is supine. No, I think.
Is this your answer then in that case, or fighting your corner?
The provocative. That's
right.
And of course, the other people. I think Pratap Bhanu Mehta is not supine, for example. There are other Indian liberals now who are beginning to fight their corner vigorously. Sunil Khinnani is not supine. Right. But I was, that remark of hers made 20 years ago when Marxism was at its height. This remark was made when the Berlin Wall still existed, when most Indian intellectuals are either CPI, CPM, or Naxalite. And now, of course, it's equally applicable to the right wing. That Indian liberals cannot be supine when standing up to the right wing either. In the 70s and 80s, they were supine in standing up to the extreme left. And now they have to assert themselves. And also at the same time, not succumb to the seductions of the center, of the political power and patronage that is in the hands of the Congress party. There's a group of Indian liberals who, in a sense, gone along with the first family, and I think that's a tragic mistake.
Right.